What if I told you that one of the most powerful women in the Bible was not Sarah, not Mary, but a rejected servant lost in the desert? What if I told you that Genesis 16-21 contains a story that shaped the Middle East, influenced Islam, Judaism, and Christianity, and yet most churches in America barely tell it in full? This is not just a Bible story. This is the story of a pregnant woman abandoned in the wilderness, a crying child under a burning sun, and a God who heard the voice no one else was listening to. Her name was Hagar, and what happened to her in the desert still affects the world today, from Jerusalem to Mecca, from Washington to London. 2 sons, 1 father, 1 promise, and a division that echoes across centuries. But here's the part most Americans and Brits never stop to ask: was Ishmael really rejected, or was he chosen for something different? Tonight we uncover the hidden tension inside Genesis 16:21, the jealousy, the exile, the miracle in the wilderness, and the connection to the Quran that many in the West rarely hear. Because this is not just ancient history. This is the origin story of nations, and it begins with a woman crying alone in the desert, a silent desert, a desperate mother, a promise that would divide nations. Genesis 16-21 tells a story that many Americans have heard, but not all of it. This is the story of Hagar, and when you look closely, you begin to see that the Bible and the Quran echo each other in ways rarely discussed. Imagine the tension inside the tent of Abraham. God had promised him descendants as countless as the stars, but years passed. His wife Sarah remained childless. Hope began to fade into frustration. Faith was being tested by time, so Sarah made a decision shaped by ancient custom. She gave her Egyptian servant Hagar to Abraham so that she might bear a child on her behalf. Hagar conceived, and everything changed. Jealousy entered the household, status shifted, emotions hardened. Genesis 16 describes how tension grew until Hagar fled into the wilderness, alone, pregnant, abandoned. Then something extraordinary happened. In the desert, an angel appeared to her. Not to Abraham, not to Sarah, to Hagar. The angel told her she would bear a son and name him Ishmael, meaning, God hears. God had heard the cry of a servant woman in the wilderness. This moment is powerful. The God of Abraham sees the invisible. Hagar even gives God a name, El Roi, the God who sees me. Ishmael was born. Years later, Genesis 17:18 record another promise: Sarah herself would bear a son, Isaac. And she did. Laughter filled the tent, but old wounds reopened. In Genesis 21, Sarah demanded that Hagar and her son be sent away. Abraham was distressed, but the separation happened. A mother and her child were pushed into the desert with limited water. Picture it: the sun burning, supplies gone, Ishmael crying from thirst, Hagar placing him under a bush and walking away because she cannot bear to watch him die. Then scripture says God heard the boy crying, the same theme God hears. An angel calls out from heaven, a well of water appears, life returns. Now listen closely, because here the Quran adds depth that many Americans